So we are talking about relationships in the 5D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 videos. I'm going to look at 4 types, 4 sets of couples. And I have a feeling that that's going to really help us. I'm going to be reading from Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. What I'm going to do is pull one card for the masculine and one for the feminine. And we're going to kind of break down that relationship, what it's dealing with, and what people of these 2 archetypes might be struggling with, what challenges they may be facing, what types of communication styles you might have from these 2 types. We're going to get into some conversations because every single every single partnership, and I'm speaking specifically about partnerships right now. And when I say partnerships, I'm saying with 2 people committed to each other, or 2 people in some form of commitment in the 5D. Okay. I know there's many different types of relationships, but right now we're going to start slow and then we're going to speed it up. Okay. So we'll be reading from Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. I'm also going to get into the vortex. This is about the vortex. It's the people. It's the groups of people that we find ourselves associating with and what we can expect from that dynamic. These are already talking, so I'm going to let them talk. I'm going to start with the vortex. Very good. All right. So this says I can get from unwanted to a wanted relationship. I can get from an unwanted relationship to a wanted relationship. So if there is a relationship that you're in right now that you're not wanting to be in for whatever reasons, you can move from an unwanted relationship into a new one. And this is what they have to say about it. As you walk away from one unpleasing situation, the law of attraction will bring another that feels very much like it, and usually quickly. You just cannot get from there to there. To get from where you want to be to the place of feeling, to get to where you want to be, to that place of feeling better, you have to reach for alignment between you and you. So you have to reach for the alignment within you. Getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. So if you're feeling down and out in Beverly Hills, if you're feeling like this is a hopeless effort, and then somebody shows up, you got to think about your mindset when the new person arrived. Okay. When you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to any action that will solve the problem. Okay. So feeling good is the most important thing. And being able to see you, being able to recognize you, and being able to tap into you is going to be key. Moving right along. So I'm going to pull 2 cards from the archetypes. One is going to be the female. The first is going to be the female on the left side, and the other one is going to be the masculine on the right side. And what I'm looking for is two types, 2 archetypes. The feminine archetype and the masculine archetype. And we're going to see how these 2 relationships show up. So the feminine is the nature child. Friendships with animals, friendships with the nature of spirits, people that communicate with spirits. This is the child of nature. Okay. coupled with the Don Juan. The Don Juan spotlights your positive, seductive qualities. So in this case, the masculine is focused on, making you feel good. He makes you feel happy. This person is good at, the romance. And again, this is coming in the light attribute. So the Don Juan that we normally think about, oh, he's no good, he's a Don Juan or whatever. In this case, it's in the light attribute. And the light attribute is Don Juan acting at his best principle. And the best principle, he's going to spotlight your positive, seductive qualities. And this person is actually with someone who's like a child in their spirit. Now, I can already see what the challenge is going to be, because if your feminine is still in a childlike state, even if it's a nature child or it could be any kind of childlike state, then somebody highlighting your seductive qualities is getting past you. You're not there. You're not in that same framework. So here we have to look at how these two energies are going to pair up, or if they are able to pair up, because if the feminine is still in the child state, is still in a place where they're still needing to be nurtured, then nurturing that person perhaps can bring them into a place where they can now see and utilize their seductive qualities. On the converse, the child can also offer to the Don Juan an air of innocence, an experience that will take them back to where they were as a child, and apply some of that to what may be an to them, to the child spirit, an over aggrandized sexuality, sensuality, seduction. Okay? You have to think about the where the person is. When you are having a relationship in the 5D, you're going to find, and not just in the 5D, in any D, right? The relationship can sometimes get wrapped up in where the child was not nurtured, where the child was not looked out for, where the child felt abandoned, where the child did not feel like their best self. And so nurturing the child is what has to be done, right? But in the same time, if you're in a romantic relationship, then those sensual, sexual qualities also have to be nurtured. So it'll be important for these two people to really examine where they are in their individual processes, and then they're going to have to figure out where that place doesn't meet. Okay. And this may be a situation where we have something that's not wanted. Either the Don Juan is feeling like the partner is not mature, and then the child, the partner that's more operating like the child, feels like, I don't know what the big deal is. Like, why are you pressuring me so much? And why, I don't feel like, I don't understand, It's probably going to be the response. Okay. Moving to the Sun and Moon Tarot, I like to look at our masculine and our feminine. The first card out here is the Wheel of Fortune, so that tells me that change is necessary. Again, the card that we pulled from the Vortex was about moving from an unwanted relationship to a wanted relationship, and knowing that you have to feel better to make that happen. In this case, we also see that the lovers are in reverse. So again, what I said about we've got some mismatch here. Maybe things are not coming together the way that you want them to, or the way that you imagine it. But that is because you're still thinking about your 3D, 4D self, and you're not thinking about what you and this person are aligned to do together. If you can't find where you are aligned together, or if you can't bring that together, then you have to re-examine where you are in the 5D. Okay? Because people are still going to be at different levels. It doesn't mean that everybody's on 5D now. They operating exactly the same. All right, so in this case, we have a Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords here is removing their mask. I'm seeing that there's been a mask, and that this person is removing the mask or has removed the mask. I don't know if this is the Don Juan, but this is the Queen. So the Queen could be the child of nature, since that card was in the feminine side. But whoever the Queen of Swords is in this relationship, they are now unmasking, and that is a key for 5D. In the 5D, it will be almost impossible to wear a mask. So when the Queen of Swords takes off her mask, okay, then deep down on the inside, there's a child of nature, someone who has a kinship with nature deep on the inside. So this person may have been presenting as really like, a boss lady. She's the boss with the hot sauce. She's got it all together. She's wheeling and dealing. This person, usually when we talk about Queen of Swords, this is the coldest queen of all of the court cards in the tarot. Okay, so there's 4 queens, 4 kings. For those of you who know tarot, if you don't, I'm telling you about it, right? There's 4 queens and 4 kings, and both of them represent the 4 elements. The Queen of Swords is considered to be the coldest of the feminine. And also the one that you can't pull any wool over their eyes. You can't get past them. They're probably the ice queen out of everybody. But deep down on the inside, this queen still has this nature child, this a child who probably feels their peace when they are outside, when they are with plants, when they are with animals, when they are with the rocks and the trees and the breezes blowing, or when they're at the beach, or when they're in the mountains or whatever like that. They need that. They need that. So if you find that this is your person in your relationship, that behind that cold exterior is really a little child that wants to be free. Okay, so we've got some strife going on here. We've got some problems that are occurring and some battles of wills. And certainly if this Queen of Swords is not getting her childlike nature, is not getting that fulfilled, or if the aspect of that person, if that aspect of the person was not nurtured as a child, you have to see how that's playing into the difficulty and the problems in the relationship. I can tell you right now, it's a battle of wills between these two. They've created a battle of wills, and it's probably because they don't understand what's really going on in the relationship. Okay, so we have an emperor here, which is about the rules and the regulations, and how we're going to do things, and what our expectations are, and then how we're going to manage that. That emperor, by the way, was in reverse, as was the moon card in reverse. A lot of major arcana cards here, which means there's these overarching themes that you both of you individually and the couple have to be thinking about. The first thing you have to think about is that you're in the midst of a transition and you're in the midst of change in general, right? And you're also changing and evolving as individuals. And the relationship in some way has changed. But that's why you're here, to understand how the relationship changed. Because if you can understand that part, then you may be able to either salvage or you may be able to part ways and it be amicable and friendly if that's what it needs to be. Not full of strife and ammunition and fire. Okay. So it's the rules and the regulations that you all are having issues with. Either somebody is trying to dictate how things are going to go, could be the Don Juan in this case, since they're energetically the older, okay, of the two, which is really going to burn a queen of somebody who is masking as a queen of swords up, because she feels like she should be in charge and that you're not going to dictate what's going to happen. Again, you got to understand the nature. Here we have the moon in reverse, which tells me that there are some things that are not being revealed or some things that are not being said. There's communications and feelings that have not been adequately expressed. And adequately, when I say adequately, I mean honestly. So there has to be an honest communication happening between the two individuals. And if the honest communication, if there's still things that are being hidden, for example, by the mask, because everything, this is the thing, when we start talking about moon in reverse with a relationship, the first thing people think is there's an affair happening. Somebody's hiding something, somebody's being deceptive, and they're not telling me the truth, and I can feel that. And if you're dealing with a woman, she can feel when you're not being honest. Now, you might not be on, you may not be being fully honest with your partner, but it may not be an affair. It might not be something, you're not stealing money from them, but you're just not showing up as yourself, but it'll still present itself in the 5D like a deception, because that's what it is. It's a deception. And so so we end up sometimes with these fights going on because your Queen of Swords, your child of nature masking as the Queen of Swords, is on top of your ass, Don Juan. I know what you're doing, right? But in reality, it may not be any of that. It may just be that Don Juan is wearing a mask. We don't know yet. Okay? But that's the whole point. We're digging up in the cards. See what's going on with this thing. All right, so we have a Princess of Pentacles in reverse. Princesses are about the princess card is the child. So again, we're going back to this persona here. Princess goes with the younger. When we look at princess, or we look at the page, because in this deck it's the princess. In a regular deck it's the page. Pages are communicators, but they're also seen as being children or a child. So in this case, I'm seeing the Princess of Pentacles, and she is coming in reverse, which means that there are things that are not being communicated about a sense of stability, needing to feel a sense of stability. And especially if your inner child is not being activated, stability and safety and commitment and things like that are pentacles oriented things when we're talking about a 5D relationship. It's how am I going to live with you here? How am I going to be able to manage be living in the house with you, handling finances with you, talking to you about practical matters, telling you the things that I need and the things that I want, and feeling safe to do that. That's what that's all about. there is an opportunity for the communication to happen. And it seems to me that the person who needs that communication to happen is this lady, this person right here. Okay? Because that's why they're wearing the mask. That's why they're wearing the mask. Because this child is in jeopardy. This child needs the Queen of Swords protection. This child that needs the stability, that needs somebody to say it's okay for you to be this child. That needs to be a part of Don Juan's effort. So if you are trying to pull out some seduction, if you're looking for the sensuality in the relationship, if it seems like the relationship is not doesn't have the sensuality and the sexuality and the seductive nature that you need, then you've got to be the one to nurture this child so that this doesn't present itself. Okay? This person needs a little reassurance, is what we're saying. This person needs a little reassurance. Again, I'm seeing this mask, I'm seeing a shield. This child is definitely protecting herself, himself. I don't know who's acting in the feminine and who's operating in the masculine in the relationship, but whoever is operating in this space, they definitely have some barriers and some shields up. This person was probably not protected and not allowed to fully blossom. Okay. Just remember, the Queen of Swords is the mask. This is the mask. So it looks like the masculine is feeling like they want to walk away in this situation. That's what's going on. I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. All I want is a little tenderness. I can't seem to get it from my Queen of Swords. I'm at an impasse. I'm ready to roll out. But what you're missing is the opportunity for play. You're looking for an opportunity for the two of you to connect and bond in a playful way. And that's where this child can be of benefit. Okay? The only thing you have to do is wake this inner child up. And when you wake the inner child up, I don't know. I'm seeing all kinds of possibilities for seduction in nature. Don't knock it till you tried it. So before you walk away from this situation, Don Juan, we're not going to talk about you. Before you walk away from this because you can't deal with the Ice Queen anymore, then take your partner out in nature and let her be free. Let her feel the nature. Maybe it's a trip to the beach. Maybe it's a trip to the botanical gardens. Maybe you're going to go to the arboretum. Maybe you go to a park, spend some time. Maybe you'll take a trip up to the mountains while the trees are budding. Something like this can begin to warm that cold heart and also nurture that part of her that wasn't being nurtured. And she'll appreciate that and give you some. All right. And so that is the victory card. That is my sign that we have reached an understanding of what's going on in this particular relationship dynamic. In this case, it's the feminine that wins in the end. All you have to do, masculine, is support that inner child And you don't have to put up with a whole lot of childish behavior. She's not like that. She's putting this out to cover this up, but this is the part of her. This is the part of her heart that needs to be warmed. This is it. And all you have to do is just pick a nature event and see where it leads. Let me know how it goes. If this resonated with you, if you can see yourself as the Don Juan in this situation, or if you know you are the ice queen that needs her inner child brought out, hit me up and let me know how this is working and if you tried the technique and what the outcome was. I hope you have a great day and I hope you're having a wonderful life.